Hello students, I explained first part of lesson. Now I am going to explain second part of lesson. In that part, I was telling you that when Ivan's German teacher or his friend wished him good luck for the next day's examination, then Ivan's thanked him at first in English language and then in French language. And then his German teacher or his friend, Ivan's friend, warned Ivans that he should not try to escape from the prison during examination because there was a tight security in the prison. Then Ivans told him that he would leave everybody surprised. It means he wanted to tell him that he would escape from the prison even after tight security. At 8:30 the following morning, Evans had two visitors. In fact, at 8:30 in the following morning, Evans had two visitors. At first, Jackson reached Evans' cell and then Stephens. When Jackson and Stephens reached Evans' cell, he tucked his grubby string vest into his equally grubby trousers and stood up from his bunk. When Stephens and Jackson reached in his cell, they stood just in front of his cell. Then, that time, Evans was pushing his dirty vest into his dirty trousers. And after that, he stood up from his bunk. Bunk is a bed which was attached to the walls of one of the walls of the cell. And after that, he smiled and wished the prison officers good morning. Jackson was a senior prison officer on leaving, and Evans had already become, he and Evans had already become war enemies. Jackson was the senior prison officer on leaving, and he or Jackson and Evans were considering themselves as their enemies. And Jackson's side stood Officer Stephens, a burly, surly looking man only recently recruited to the profession. And beside Jackson, another prison officer was standing whose name was Stephens, and he was recently recruited in Oxford prison. At first Jackson arrived and then Stephens arrived. When Jackson saw Stephens, then he asked Stephens about when Jackson saw Stephens, then he asked Stephens about Evans. That if what was their little Einsteins doing that morning. Means when Stephens arrived, at first Jackson arrived, then Stephens arrived. When Stephens arrived, then Jackson asked Stephens about Evans by calling him Einstein, what their little Einstein was doing that morning. Clear? Was not he a mathematician, Mr. Jackson? After listening Jackson's word, Stephens asked him if he was not a mathematician. I think he was a Jew, Mr. Jackson. And then Stephens told Jackson that he was thinking if he was or he was a Jew. It means by saying these words, both of them were making a fun of Evans. Evans' face was unshaven, and he wore a filthy looking red and white bobble hat upon his head. And that time Ivan's face was unshaven, he had beard on his face, and that time he was wearing an ugly looking red and white woolen hat on his head. Give me a chance, Mr. Jackson, I was going to shave when you burst in. And after that, he requested Jackson to give him a chance to shave his beard, and he also told him that when he reached his cell, that time he was going to shave his beard. Which reminds me, Jackson turned his eyes on Stephens. After that, Jackson gave some instructions to Stephens. When Evans told that Jackson should give him a chance to shave his beard, then Jackson turned towards Stephens in order to give some instruction to him regarding Evans. Make sure you take his razor out of the cell when he is finished scraping that ugly mug of his clear. One of these days he will do us all a favor and cut his bloody throat. Jackson instructed Stephens to take Evans' razor when he finished his shaving. And he also told Jackson that if he would not take razor from him, then Evans would cut his throat with that razor and he would create problem for them. For a few seconds, Evans looked thoughtfully at the man standing ramrod straight in front of him. A string of Second World War medals proudly paraded over his left breast pocket. When Jackson told this to Stephens, then Evans looked at Jackson, who was standing stiff and straight in front of Evans. And he was wearing gold medals which he won during the Second World War. Mr. Jackson, was it you? For a moment he looked, but after that he asked Mr. Jackson, Mr. Jackson, was it you who took my nail scissors away? Evans had always worried about his hands, and he asked Jackson if he had taken his nail scissors away and your nail files too. Then Jackson replies that he had taken his nail scissors and his nail files too. Okay, both tools he had taken, Jackson told him. Look, for a moment, Evans' eyes smoldered dangerously, but Jackson was ready for him. After listening Jackson's words, Evans became angry. But Jackson was ready to face his anger. Orders of the governor Evans, he leaned forward and leered, his voice drooping to a harsh, contemptuous whisper, "You want to complain." Then Jackson told Evans that he had taken his nail scissors and nail file because of governor's order. And after that, in a harsh tone, he asked Evans if he wanted to make a complaint regarding this. Okay, when Evans heard Jackson's harsh words, then his anger was removed. Okay, Evans shrugged his shoulders lightly, and then trouble was over. You have got half an hour to smarten yourself up, Evans, and take that bloody hat off. Then Jackson told him instructed him uh, to shave his beard within half hour, to smarten himself within half an hour, and then Jackson also instructed him to remove his woolen hat from his head. Me at oh, Evans put his right hand lovingly on the top of the filthy woolen and smiled sadly. Do you know, Mr. Jackson, it is the only thing that is ever brought me any sort of luck in life, kind of lucky charm, if you know what I mean. And today I thought, well, with the exam and all that. Then, when Jackson instructed him to remove his hat from his head, then Evans told him that hat was lucky for him. That hat was lucky for him, and that day he was going to attempt the examination. That is why he told Jackson, after putting his hat on his head, he would write the answers of the questions asked in the examination comfortably. Okay. Buried somewhere in Jackson was a tiny core of compassion, and Evans knew it. Evans requested Jackson to allow him to put his woolen hat even during the examination, because Evans knew that there was a little compassion on Jackson's heart for him. That is why he requested him, and he knew that Jackson would allow him to put his hat on his head even during examination. And after that, Jackson permitted him to put his hat on his head during examination, just this once, then Shirley Temple. And because Evans' hair was long and wavy, and Jackson hated his hair, Evans had hair like Shirley Temple. Shirley Temple was a hero, and Evans' hairstyle was like Shirley Temple's hairstyles. If there was one thing, and Jackson hated Evans' long and wavy hair, that is why he told that he should use his hat for hiding his long and wavy, hateful hair. And again he instructed him to shave his beard as soon as possible. After that, he went away. At 8:45 the same morning, the Reverend Stuart McClary left his bachelor's flat in Broad Street and stepped out briskly towards Garafox. At 8:45 a.m. the same morning, while Jackson that day Jackson and Stephens reached Evans' cell, and the same day at 8:45 a.m. respected Stuart McClary left his bachelor flat in Broad Street and stepped and moved hurriedly towards Garafox, where Oxford prison was situated. Okay, Garafox, name of the area. Means students, while telling summary, I told you that Stuart McClary, who reached Oxford prison in Garafox, he was not actual Stuart McClary, because actual Stuart McClary was tied and locked in his flat at 8:15 a.m. because two Evans friends reached there in Stuart McClary's flat, and they tied him and locked him in his flat. And after that, in the appearance of impersonating Stuart McClary, reached Oxford prison, which was in Garafox in London. The weatherman reported temperature considerably below the normal for the early June, and weatherman reported that the temperature was normal, and a long black overcoat and a shallow crown clerical had provided welcome protection from the steady drizzle. It was raining. ठीक है ना? It was raining lightly, a shower of rain. It was shower of rain, and Stuart McClary means impersonating Stuart McClary, who was wearing long black overcoat and a shallow crown clerical hat. That hat was providing protection to him from the rain shower. Okay, which had set in half an hour earlier and which now spattered the thick lenses of spectacles, and raindrops splashed on the thick lens of McClary's spectacles. Okay. In his right hand he was carrying a small brown suitcase, and impersonating Stuart McClary or Ivan's friend was carrying a small brown suitcase in his right hand while he was moving towards Oxford prison, which contained all that he would need for his morning duties, including a sealed question paper envelope, a yellow invitation form, a special authentication card from examination board, a paper knife, a Bible. He was to speak to the Women's Guild that afternoon on the Bible, on the book of Ruth, and the current copy of Church Times. And in his suitcase he was carrying, in his suitcase many things were kept. Those were materials related to examination and identification card which he received from examination board, invitation form, paper knife, and a Bible which he had to read before Women's Association, and a newspaper Church Time was also kept in his suitcase. In his suitcase. But these things were kept in his suitcase. Okay, means he was not Stuart McClary. He was impersonating Stuart McClary. Means he was Ivan's friend who was going to Oxford prison. Okay, it was a well-laid plan. The 2-hour examination was scheduled to start at 9:15, and 2 hours examination was scheduled to start at 9:15. Examination was to start at 9:15, but it was not started at exact time. Evans was lathering his face vigorously. That time, when Stuart, impersonating Stuart McClary, left his flat on the Broad Street, that time Evans was lathering his face. Evans was lathering his face. Evans was rubbing the brush with and brush on the cream which he applied on his face. That is why lather was formed. Froth was formed. White colored froth was formed. That is why I am saying Evans was lathering his face vigorously. When we applied cream, put cream on beard, and after that we started rubbing our beard with the help of the brush and water, then a lather was formed, white lather was formed. Okay, and lathering his face vigorously when Stephens brought in 2 small square tables. While Evans was lathering his face vigorously, then Stephens brought 2 small square tables in the cell, and he set those tables opposite to each other in the narrow space between the bunk on the one side and on the other side of distempered stone wall, because the walls of Evans' cells were painted, and Stephens kept one table on the one wall and other table just opposite to it. And after that, he also brought two hard chairs, the slightly less battered, and those chairs were slightly less damaged, not new. Those chairs and tables were not new, they were damaged, they were old. Battered of which he placed in front of the table, and he placed the chair just in front of the table, which stood nearer the cell door. And tables and chairs were kept near the cell door because his cell was narrow. Okay. Jackson put in a brief final appearance, "Behave yourself, lady." And Jackson reached Evans's cell while Stephens was putting chairs and tables in his cell. Jackson reached his cell and instructed Evans to behave himself, means to behave in a proper manner during the examination. Evans turned and nodded. Evans moved towards Jackson and he looked at Jackson in order to say that he would do whatever Jackson was saying. And Jackson pointed to pinups, and Jackson pointed to the posters which were pinned up on the wall of the cell. Jackson instructed Evans to remove that posters. Evans turned and nodded again. Again, Evans turned towards Jackson and assured him that he would remove those posters. "I was going to take them down anyway." Then Evans also told Jackson that he was going to remove them. "A minister is naughty." And he asked Jackson, the legislator who had to reach his cell for invigilating the examination, if he was a priest, the chap coming to sit in. "And now did you know that? Then how did you know that?" Then Jackson asked Evans how he came to know about that a priest had to reach in his cell for invigilating the examination. "Well, I had to sign some forms." Then Evans told him that he knew about that because he had signed some forms. That is why he knew that a priest had to reach in his cell for invigilating the examination. "Did not I could not help." That is why Evans told Jackson that because of that he knew about invigilator. Evans drew the razor carefully down his left cheek. That time, while Evans was talking to Jackson, he started shaving his beard. He was started removing his beard from his left cheek and left a neat swat. When he cleaned his beard from his left cheek, then a white colored swat was left in the white leather. "Cannot I ask you something, Mr. Jackson?" Then Evans asked Jackson if he could ask some questions to him. "Why did they have to bug me in this cell?" He nodded his head vaguely in front of above the door. Evans asked Jackson why the governor wanted to observe his activities in his cell. He asked this to Jackson by pointing towards the point just above the door, just above the cell door, because a microphone was fitted there, and with the help of that microphone, governor was observing Evans' activities in his cell. That is why Evans was asking Jackson why governor wanted to observe, wanted to spy, wanted to detect his activities. Not a very neat job, considered Jackson. Then Jackson agreed with Evans and told him that it was not a good job. Whatever governor was doing, he was not doing good. They don't honestly think I am going to try to. And Evans told Jackson that governor should not think that Evans would try to escape from the prison, because he was not going to escape from the prison. They are taking no chances, Evans. Nobody in his senses would take any chance with you. And then Jackson, after listening Evans' word, Jackson told him that nobody wanted to take chance with him, because Jackson wanted to tell Evans that he had already escaped prison three times. That is why nobody wanted to take a risk with him, wanted to give a chance to him. Who is going to listen in? Then Evans told Jackson that he was not going to pay attention towards them. Means he wanted to say indirectly that he would escape. I will tell you who is going to listen in, lady. He is the governor himself. He don't trust you a bloody inch. And Jackson told Evans that governor was detecting Evans, because he had not any trust on him. And nor do I will be watching you like a hawk. And Jackson also told Evans that like a governor, he also did not have any trust on him. And he told Evans that he would be watching him like a hawk. Hawk is type of bird. Okay? And hawk sit at the highest rock, and at the rock, and from there he observed its prey, and directly stayed there, and when it feel comfortable, then it directly move towards the prey and catch it. That is why Jackson told Evans that he would be watching him like a hawk. So keep your nose clean. And Jackson further warned him not to try to escape from the prison. Nose clean means not to try to escape from the prison. He walked towards the door. After that, Jackson moved towards the door, and Evans nodded. He had already thought of that. And number 2 handkerchief was lying ready on the bunk. And Evans nodded and told Jackson in nodding that whatever he was saying, he would follow. And number 2 handkerchief was lying ready on his bunk, a neatly folded square of white linen. And that handkerchief was of linen cloth, and it was kept on Evans' bunk. Now students, I think you will have understood this part of the lesson, and tomorrow I will explain next part of the lesson. Thank you and have a nice day.